Today, we are going to dive deep into a single, powerful proverb from the poet and mystic William Blake. You know, it's just one line, but it might just hold the secret to unlocking a truly more creative and abundant life for every single one of us.
That's it. Just 7 words. But like a piece of ancient wisdom, it presents us with this fundamental choice about how we live, how we think, and how we create. It's such a simple idea on the surface, but the implications, well, they go incredibly deep.
So, what is Blake really trying to tell us here? I mean, this clearly isn't just about plumbing, right? This is an invitation to explore a mystery, a choice between 2 profoundly different ways of being in the world.
Okay, so to really get this, we have to understand the 2 core, opposing concepts Blake lays out for us. You could call them the 2 paths, the path of the cistern and the path of the fountain.
So first up, we have the cistern. I want you to picture a sealed tank, maybe a vault. This represents a mindset that is totally focused on containment, on hoarding knowledge, on measuring success, and on preserving this static, safe version of yourself. It's that impulse to collect things rather than to actually create them.
And then you've got the complete opposite, the fountain. Now, this isn't a container at all. It's more like a channel, a conduit. It embodies this dynamic, infinite energy that is just so full, so abundant, that it has to be expressed. It literally can't help but spill over and enrich everything and everyone around it.
And this, right here, lays the choice bare. Are you containing or are you overflowing? Is your mind a place of dead storage or is it a channel for a divine, creative overflow? This is the core conflict Blake saw between what he called the devouring and the prolific ways of being.
So what happens when we choose the path of the cistern? Well, Blake does not mince words on this. He frames it as a really dangerous, you could even say poisonous way to live.
He uses this incredibly powerful metaphor of standing water. Think about it. Any water that's just contained, that doesn't move, will eventually stagnate. And for Blake, it breeds poison. He believed the human mind is no different. A lack of motion, a refusal to flow, that leads to spiritual decay.
Psychologically speaking, this is what happens when we repress our natural desires and energies. Blake actually described it as a mind trapped in manacles. It's a mind that's so fearful of losing its own finite borders, so terrified of losing control that it just locks everything down, and the result is always, inevitably, stagnation and decay.
Okay, but enough about all that poison and decay. If the cistern leads to stagnation, what does the fountain lead to? Well, for Blake, the answer is delight, a state of total, absolute creative liberation.
I mean, the contrast here could not be more stark. We go from the poison of a stagnant mind to the soul of sweet delight. And this isn't just about feeling happy for a moment. It's about a state of being that is pure and undefiled, precisely because it's always in motion, always flowing, always in a state of active output.
You see, for Blake, to overflow is to be psychologically healthy. It's a state where your internal energy becomes so powerful that it just transcends the small, fearful ego, and that leads to a life filled with spontaneity, with uninhibited expression. This is what he called the poetic genius, the creative soul operating at its absolute peak.
But here's the thing, this choice isn't just a personal one. Blake argues that our society, our institutions, they often push us towards the cistern and pull us away from the fountain.
He uses these absolutely incredible metaphors to explain this. The horses of instruction, you can think of that as standardized education, they're always pulling the cart of accumulated facts. They value the cistern. They are terrified of the tiger of raw, untamed personal insight, which is, of course, the spirit of the fountain.
And this is such a crucial point. Institutions often become cisterns. They take the living, wholesome food of the spirit and they try to bottle it into these rigid, manageable doctrines. Think of a vibrant spiritual movement that becomes an organized religion, or a groundbreaking artistic style that turns into a stuffy academic subject. In trying to protect wisdom, they can actually stop its flow, turning it into dead, useless dogma.
And this idea extends to our whole society. A world built on the rigid stones of law and the endless accumulation of property is, by its very nature, a cistern. It prioritizes control and ownership and power over the liberty of the spirit to just flow freely and connect.
So what's the alternative then? For Blake, the answer is energy. It's excess. It's a full-throated embrace of creation. That's the real path to wisdom.
This iconic quote, it just captures the entire philosophy of the fountain, doesn't it? It's not about moderation or careful containment. It's about excess, about a brilliant, energetic overflow. That, for Blake, is what true beauty really is.
Blake even personifies these two mindsets with animals. The cistern is like the calculating fox, always driven by a fear of scarcity, always hoarding for a winter that might not ever come. But the fountain is the lion. It doesn't calculate or hoard, it acts with complete faith in its own abundant, eternally renewed strength.
And here we are at the beautiful paradox at the very heart of this proverb. In Blake's vision, the only way to truly possess what is valuable, your creativity, your wisdom, your love, is to constantly give it away. True ownership comes through the unceasing motion of release. So, after exploring all of this, what does it actually mean for us, right here, right now? Blake's proverb isn't just some dusty old philosophy. It's a direct and urgent invitation for you to make a choice.
And the stakes, well, they couldn't be any higher. Blake presents this as a choice between spiritual death and eternal life. It's a choice between stagnation and expansion. And there really is no middle ground.
And the path forward is really a two-step action. First, you have to be willing to abandon the safety of the cistern, that container you've so carefully built for yourself. And second, you have to join the dance, the constant, overflowing, exuberant motion of creation.
And that's the question Blake leaves us with. It's a choice we make every single day, in every single moment. Are you here to contain, or are you here to overflow? The answer truly defines everything.